In 1981, buyers were spending $30,000 on a flagship luxury car and immediately taking a pair of pliers to the factory wiring harness. Owners were performing this amateur surgery because it was the only way to make the car drivable. Without severing that connection, the vehicle would violently jerk and lose power at highway speeds. The car was the 1981 Cadillac. It featured the new V8-6-4 engine, a power plant promising the torque of a big block with the fuel economy of a four-cylinder. Cadillac engineers had designed a sophisticated, high-stakes gamble to meet federal fuel mandates without retiring the heavy displacement V8 that defined the brand. The V8-6-4 was an invention that arrived decades before the technology to control it existed. It demonstrated that advanced mechanical hardware cannot function if the computer running it lacks the processing speed to keep up. The 1970s oil crisis ended the era of cheap fuel in America. Gas lines forced a total shift in how Detroit engineered its flagship vehicles. Congress responded with the 1975 CAFE standards, mandating that every automaker meet specific, aggressive efficiency targets to remain in the U.S. market. Cadillac faced an existential crisis. Their brand was built on land yachts, 5,000-pound steel vehicles that relied on massive, inefficient V8 engines to provide a smooth, silent ride. They faced a rigid mathematical conflict. They had to reach the miles-per-gallon rating of a compact commuter car while maintaining the prestige and torque of a luxury V8. To avoid millions in federal fines and the new gas guzzler tax, General Motors engineers were forced to push internal combustion into unproven territory. The result was the L62 V8-6-4. Working with the Eaton Corporation, Cadillac developed a mechatronic valve train that could physically alter the engine's displacement on the fly. To deactivate cylinders, solenoids decoupled the rocker arms from the pushrods, allowing the valves to stay shut. This trapped a charge of air inside the sealed cylinder, creating a pneumatic air spring to balance vibration and maintain heat for an immediate restart. From a purely mechanical standpoint, the hardware worked. The tolerances were precise, and the physical logic behind the Eaton selectors was sound. But an engine can only perform as well as the brain that dictates its timing. The Delco engine control module was the system's data bottleneck. While the valve train was advanced, the electronic brain was built around primitive 1980s microchips. This 8-bit microprocessor could only execute 300,000 commands per second, too slow to manage high-speed engine transients. On highway inclines, it became overwhelmed, frantically toggling between 4, 6, and 8 cylinders, a phenomenon known as mode hunting. Because the throttle body injection system was centrally located, it lacked high-speed communication with the cylinders. During 4-cylinder operation, fuel would fall out of the air mixture and pool on top of the closed intake valves. When the computer signaled those cylinders to reactivate, the valves opened, dumping raw liquid gasoline into the combustion chamber, causing severe misfires and detonation. Drivers reported a violent, rhythmic bucking that felt like the car was attempting to tear itself apart at cruising speeds. Cadillac had successfully engineered a complex mechanical system, but they were managing high-speed engine physics with a digital pocket calculator. The backlash was immediate. Cadillac buyers who had paid a premium for luxury were hit with stalling engines and uncontrollable vibrations, leading to a wave of class action lawsuits. As the manufacturer struggled to fix the system with software updates, independent mechanics developed a crude, grassroots solution. By snipping a single wire on the side of the transmission, they could cut off the signal that authorized cylinder deactivation. This permanently tricked the computer into running on all 8 cylinders full-time. To make their cars drivable, owners willingly sacrificed the promised fuel economy gains. The V8-6-4 became a legendary failure that severely damaged Cadillac's market position. 2 decades later, General Motors returned to this exact cylinder deactivation concept, which has since become an industry standard. The idea works now because modern 32 and 64-bit processors can evaluate engine load in microseconds. Paired with direct fuel injection, they can cut fuel delivery instantly, solving the lag and pooling issues of 1981. The 1981 Cadillac L62 was visionary. The engineers understood the future of efficiency. They simply lacked the silicon required to make it a reality. What other technologies failed because they were introduced before the world was ready? Let us know in the comments and subscribe to Archive World for our next deep dive into automotive history.